Hello, world. Hello, world. Yes, this is an update for DUI celebrities. Hall of Shame. Believe it or not, in the words of, we would say, this dude here, Timberlake, he states, don't have one drink and get behind the wheel. Well,
Would cause severe and irreparable harm and subject him to public ridicule and harassment.
Even if you've had one drink, don't get behind the wheel of a car.
Found guilty last February in the hit-and-run death. Former socialite and convicted murderer Rebecca Grossman is expected to be sentenced today. Grossman was found guilty last February in the hit-and-run deaths of two young brothers back in 2020. KTLA's Eric Spillman live for us in Van Nuys. Eric, good morning.
Morning, Megan. I was just upstairs in the courtroom, and the sentencing hearing is about to get underway up there. Rebecca Grossman has written a letter from jail to the judge asking for mercy. She says, I am not a murderer. Meantime, prosecutors are demanding that she get the maximum sentence, which is 34 years to life in prison. You will recall that Rebecca Grossman was convicted last month, actually back in February, for the deaths of Mark and Jacob Iskander, ages 11 and 8. Prosecutors say she was driving her Mercedes SUV 73 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone when she struck and killed the boys who were in a marked crosswalk in Westlake Village. They say evidence presented at trial showed she had alcohol and Valium in her system, and that after the crash, she did not return to the scene or offer any help to the victims. At trial, her defense lawyers tried to blame Grossman's ex-boyfriend, former LA Dodgers pitcher Scott Erickson, claiming that he hit the children first. Well, the jury didn't buy that. They found her guilty of second-degree murder and vehicular manslaughter with gross negligence. Prosecutors wrote in their sentencing memorandum to the judge that Grossman should get the maximum penalty. They say, quote, the defendant has never shown an ounce of remorse for her choices. On September 29th, 2020, she's never taken a modicum of responsibility. Instead, she's only blamed others. She's blamed the victims, arguing that they were out of the crosswalk, jetted out in front of her car, and that their mother was careless in walking with her children across the street when it was starting to get dark outside. She has lived a life of privilege and clearly felt that her wealth and notoriety would buy her freedom. This was not a tragic accident, as the defense continually states. This was murder. Grossman is married to Dr. Peter Grossman and is the co-founder of the Grossman Burn Foundation, the charitable arm of her husband's surgery practice. Since she was convicted in February, she's been in jail and has tried and failed to get a new trial. Her lawyers are asking the judge to put her on probation instead of sentencing her to a prison for the rest of her life. They say she's a selfless humanitarian whose purpose in life is to help those in need. Grossman herself, in that letter to the judge, writes this, quote, I am not a murderer, and I ask you to recognize that true fact. My pain, my recognition of the pain the Iskanders suffer, and the pain I watch my family endure are punishments that I already suffer and will for the rest of my life. Please consider this suffering when you consider what more punishment to impose on me in this case. As God is my witness, I did not see anyone or anything in the road. I swear to you, I would have driven my car into a tree to avoid hitting two little boys, end quote. We spoke to the executive director of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. She is here in court to watch the sentencing hearing this morning.
This was a 100% preventable crime. This was an individual who made a decision to get impaired and got behind the wheel of a vehicle. So we're hoping that justice is on the side of the victims, because victims' rights really matter. And we need to do as much as we can to make sure that we get the message out that if you're impaired and you get behind the wheel of a vehicle, that there are consequences.
In the courtroom this morning, the family of Rebecca Grossman is present, her husband, her son, her daughter. Also, the Iskander family is also in the courtroom. We expect to hear from the parents of those two young boys. They will get a chance to make what's called a victim impact statement to the judge before sentencing later today. We'll send it back to you.
well, world, there you have it. This entitled rich person, if that's what you want to call her, murderer, had the nerve and the goals to again devalue the life of these individuals who she's taken. The nerve of her to talk about she wrote a letter to the judge as if her words mean anything, but to any mother who had just lost their kids based on her reckless actions. Goodness. The level of entitlement for some folks is just outrageous. The fact that this woman, again, could have ordered an Uber shows her disregard for the human life, and throw the book at her. Bye, world.